Ladies and gentlemen, on October 30th, 2023, the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission, EHRCO, released a press release shedding light on the protracted armed conflict that has plagued the Amhara region for months, as well as the grave human rights violations accompanying it. This conflict has wrought havoc on the lives of countless civilians, necessitating urgent attention and action from both combatant forces and the government. The EHRCO, in multiple prior statements, implored all parties involved to take immediate measures to protect civilians and seek a peaceful resolution to the large-scale human rights violations stemming from the ongoing conflict in the Amhara region. The Commission has vigilantly monitored the adverse impact of this protracted crisis on human rights and social fabric. Its comprehensive approach involves gathering information and evidence from various sources, including government officials, residents in conflict areas, eyewitnesses, victims, and the families of those affected. Since July 2023, relentless armed conflict has erupted in many districts across the Amhara region. These conflicts have evolved over time, with different zones experiencing various levels of intensity and control. Government security forces and a militant group known as Fano have, at different points, exerted authority over these areas. The conflict has been characterized by the use of heavy weaponry and occasional air or drone strikes, adding to the complexity and devastation. In this harrowing context, civilians have suffered casualties and injuries resulting from heavy weapon attacks, including drone strikes. As an illustration, in Miterbila town in the North Shoa zone on October 16, 2023, several civilians, including an infant, tragically lost their lives in a drone attack. These devastating incidents have recurred in places like Debre Marcos City and Dembeka, underscoring the relentless violence inflicted upon innocent civilians. Displacement has been a dire consequence of the conflict. Many residents have been forced to abandon their villages to escape the violence, leaving them in precarious situations. In Menjar district, for instance, at least 3,000 people were displaced since September 17, 2023, with some seeking refuge in makeshift locations like schools and open fields. While some support has been provided by local communities and relief organizations, it remains insufficient to address their dire needs. Moreover, following the displacement of residents, their properties have been pillaged and their homes subjected to demolition by forces from neighboring regions. This unsettling phenomenon, including the removal of roofs and doors from houses, has been corroborated by local residents and government officials who have cooperated with EHRCO. The EHRCO's September 15, 2023 statement voiced concern about extrajudicial killings in various parts of the region, with indications that such killings, particularly by government security forces, continue. Government security forces have been accused of unlawfully targeting civilians during street or house-to-house searches, often on grounds like alleged support for Fano or providing information to the group. Tragic incidents, such as the killings in Bahia Dar City, North Gojam Zone, and East Gojam Zone, among others, paint a grim picture of the relentless violence perpetrated against civilians. Additionally, stories from residents in Goncha Siso Eneze district in East Gojam Zone detail horrifying encounters, including the killing of individuals seeking medical treatment. Civilian government officials at various levels have not been spared from the violence. On October 9, 2023, government officials, including the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Law, Justice and Administration of the Amhara Regional Council, were targeted and killed. Attacks on prisons and police stations have enabled prisoners and suspects to escape, compounding the security challenges in the region. One of the most disturbing aspects of this conflict is the reported instances of rape. EHRCO, along with professional associations and medical institutions, highlights the urgent need for investigation and action in this regard. Over the course of the conflict, at least 200 rape victims, including internally displaced women and healthcare professionals, have been registered in health facilities. The armed conflict has also resulted in looting, damage to civilian and commercial infrastructure, and destruction of crops. The suspension of schooling, with educational institutions used for military purposes, poses a significant concern. The disruption of social services and medical facilities has exacerbated the suffering of residents, internally displaced persons, IDPs, and refugees in the Amhara region. For instance, schools in various locations such as South Gondar Werita, Ebnat, Shoa Robot City, and Jua City have been repurposed for military activities. Meanwhile, Adat Hospital has ceased providing services due to looting, and Fnot Salam Hospital and Tibebegion Hospital in Bahir Dar have faced challenges, including harassment, beatings, and arrests of staff and patients. The imposition of curfews, road transport disruptions, and the resultant impact on commercial and social activities have caused residents to face supply shortages, significant price hikes, and related issues. Economic and social crises have become all too common, with various production areas grinding to a halt, money transfer restrictions, and the suspension of salary payments in some institutions. Furthermore, food shortages are becoming increasingly dire, particularly in North Gondar and Waghemra areas. To compound matters, internet and telephone services have been widely suspended, save for a few authorized institutions in the region, creating isolation and communication challenges. EHRCO's Chief Commissioner, Dr. Daniel Bakila, reiterates the Commission's call for a lasting solution to the conflict. He emphasizes the critical need to protect civilians, their properties, public services, and infrastructure from targeting under all circumstances. Dr. Bakele underscores that individuals arrested as armed combatants or suspects should only face legal proceedings. Accountability for rape and extrajudicial killings must be established, and social services should be restored as swiftly as possible. EHRCO implores that humanitarian assistance reaches displaced persons promptly, their reasons for displacement are addressed, and their return to their villages is made feasible. The situation in the Amhara region is grave, demanding concerted efforts to mitigate the suffering and secure lasting peace.